with Jimi Disu, and this program is brought to you by Amstel Malta. Now, I had promised you that we were going to have what I will call the first in some kind of lecture series where we'll talk to ourselves and how to swim through this democratic dispensation that we are in. And I'm fulfilling that promise this morning. You know that the times we are in are very, very sensitive. Everybody is worried. The government is worried. The media is worried. And citizens too are worried, and so on and so forth. And everybody knows the power of the word. The power of the word. We need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge the things that go along with public speaking. For us to understand that one word that we would say can cause a whole lot of confusion. I give you an example. In the last but one election, I had a guest when I was on Classic FM, the discourse way back then, who said, for example, that, he said it in passing on radio, that, the Igbos are not being registered in Ajegule area, in that side of town. And I told him to give me the evidence he couldn't give. So I told him to retract his statement where we were sitting right there. And he first of all refused. We were live on air, but you know me, I just said to myself, if you're going to insist that you won't take it back, then we're going to end this program. And he saw the seriousness in me. He not only retracted it, he apologized. Why did I say so? That kind of statement could bring about a riot immediately. And history has shown that in times like this, some of the things that spark off trouble, you know the beginning, but you don't jolly well know where it's going to end. If you look at two incidents that we can look at, the French Revolution started with just the price of bread. What we are taught as history students, I did history up to university level, is that they will tell you that you have what you call remote cause and you have what you call immediate cause of a crisis. Look at the Arab Spring. So this guy goes and gets to a point, and then the policewoman tells him to roger him. He refuses. And out of sheer anger and complete frustration, he pours petrol or kerosene, was it, on himself and set himself on fire, and see where we are today. So the word is very, very important. And if you look at the flurry of activities, if you've been reading the papers, everybody is worried that we do not throw petrol into a burning fire. Therefore, I just thought that I would use today to sensitize ourselves about how we conduct ourselves on public forum, irrespective of what our feelings are. On our part, of course, we have a body that takes care of our own side professionally. I don't agree with some of the things that have been put in place, but you have to live with what you have now. If you don't agree with something, you find a way to influence it. I mean, I don't agree, for example, that you should have a body that sanctions you without trial. I don't agree to that. But if that is what the law says, that is what the law says. So we need to follow that. So that is a story for another day. But as it were, we here all have been sensitized to the times that we're in. But we need your own cooperation to have a tidy... You see, they say he who fights and runs away lives to fight another day. If we had all macheted ourselves during the days of Jonathan, there wouldn't be 8 years down the line that we're having today. And I want us to have another 8 years and another 8 years, another 8 years, another 8 years. Democracy is work in progress. And one of the biggest points in democracy is giving allowance to the decision of the majority, showing maturity, not insisting on things being done your own way. They said that the majority would have their way, but the minority will have their say. But in having their say, we must be sure that we don't ruffle feathers. So we will look at it. We are already looking at it anyway. So what are we talking about? As you can see, we are being, if you've noticed, you see that we are being a bit more guarded. It is true that in democracy, there is freedom of speech. But that freedom also comes with some level of responsibility that is demanded of everybody. I remember when I started this analysis, how, God bless his soul, Sly, how out of anger I used to like hit the table all the time and so on and so forth, way back in Classic FM. And the late Sly will be saying to me, Uncle J, this table is not, it's fragile. You're going to break it. He had this gruffy voice. But over time, one learned to say, okay, look, take it easy. The world is not going to come to an end. And I'm going to be begging that of you in the programs ahead, not just for this period, but going on. So you all know the ground rules. First of all, when you want to call into any radio program, to be honest with you, so that your point will be heard loud and clear. So that your point will be heard loud and clear, make sure you are calling from a quiet background. Secondly, don't call on impulse. Don't call in anger. Something is going on a radio program and you are angry. Why? You can see what happened 2 days ago when the news broke about this. I said we wanted to say water parks, about this disappointment and so on and so forth. I told Sheriff that, look, I'm too angry to say anything. Even now, I'm still too angry to say anything. But that's an aside. That's another story for another day. But don't call in anger. Don't call in anger, because sometimes when we are angry, we say things. Of course, don't call when you are correct. Where one didn't lole. Not start calling out of no. Don't do that. Make sure anytime you speak in public that your thoughts are well thought out. Excuse the pun. That your thoughts are well thought out. You've had time to think about it. You've had time to run it through your mind. You've had time to think over it. And finally, you're now ready to say something. People don't know that what you say, even indeed in the social media, reflects your own character. So if you get it wrong, you will think that you've done the super thing, but you've ended up ridiculing yourself. You've ended up ridiculing yourself. And I would also say that if you are not too comfortable with the language in which the program is being conducted, because it's not always in English. Sometimes you could call, let's say, a station like Wazobia, and you have to speak in pidgin English. If you are not comfortable, then don't even. I think you should skip the embarrassment, and just get somebody else to call on your behalf. I mean, these are, and then do not get abusive. These are the things that I always say. Don't get abusive. Don't get personal. Because once you get abusive, you take away the essence of what you want to say. And also, it's a reflection of the fact that you don't even have anything concrete to say, and you just want to haul abuses at the guy. I give you an example now. Some of these politicians hire these, they call them influencers or whatever they're calling them. If there are any politicians listen to me, this is going to be very good information for you. A lot of this thing has almost become a racket. So what do the politicians do? You employ a Jimi Disu and tell him, can he get you 50 influencers? You give him maybe 100,000 per head. Immediately he breaks it into two, he puts 50 in his pocket, and there's 15 hanging out there. Then he calls another person, calls Philip, get me 50 people. Philip breaks it down again, puts another half. At the end of the day, you just get 50 people that who would at the very least not make any good point on your behalf. Because what do? Same old tactics. Either you abuse whoever it is, whether it's a fellow politician or somebody made a comment on radio, instead of you to criticize the point and make your own point, you end up abusing the guy. If he's an OAP, you think you can run him down by saying, I don't listen to his program, I don't do this. A lot of childish things that goes on there. But what it does is that it ridicules so what I tell these people is that there are some times when silence can be golden. silence can be golden. There's sometimes when silence, and that brings me to some of the tactics of public speaking. It is not everything that you say, like they say in Yoruba. You don't talk with all your mouth. I mean, anybody listening to English will wonder, what do you mean by you don't talk with all your mouth? Do you talk with half of your mouth? What I'm trying to say is that there is a lot of credit for innuendo. There is a lot of credit for sarcasm. There is a lot of credit for insinuations. And remember, those are the tactics in public speaking by which you can put your point across without anybody being able to hold you by the wrist, if you get what I'm saying. So also for the listener, you need to bring yourselves up to a point where you if you listen carefully, you will know whether the presenter, whoever it is, or the guest or whatever, is being sarcastic. So you don't take everything literally. I give you an example. If somebody is asked, do you think this government action was right, and so on and so forth, and it goes like, yes, I think it's very good. I think this is the best thing that the government has ever done, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. You should be able to discern, to say to yourself, oh, this guy is just being sarcastic. He's probably completely frustrated. Do you know that sometimes silence itself can be golden? If you're asked a guest on a program, and it's happened to me before, you ask me a question, I just keep looking at you. And that can say a lot. It's like what Sam Amoka taught me. Morning, Uncle Sam. Anybody should pass the greeting to him. What Sam Amoka told me, he said, look, a picture can be translated to 1,000 words. Just looking at a man, say, or what we are taught also. Why sometimes we pursue people for interviews. Let's say something has happened and you need a reaction. Even if the man doesn't say anything, you write that he doesn't say anything. He says something. No comment says something. So I'm using this opportunity to appeal to all of us to let's learn these things. And let us also know, let us give allowances for the knowledge of the kind of people that we are. We are not Oyinbo people. We are not Americans. This is not an American democracy. This is a Nigerian democracy. There are loads of the supporters out there who sometimes might not have the clear understanding that you and I will have. And remember, politicians always deal with numbers. That's why all forms, all shades, all forms of characters are welcome in their midst. People that you and I would give a mile-long poll, that would rather not have anything to do with that at all, rather not even be seen in their company. Politicians accommodate them all because, like I said, it is a function of numbers. Okay? So that is the essence of the discussion we are having. Don't let me say I want us to have. We're already having it. And so I'll open up our lines. We can 0700 993 993 993 and 014657190 so that we can take our reactions, your reactions, and then we can both have a nice discussion about this. Now, I am inclined to, unless we have open mic, let me steal Wemimo's idea. I forgot that she's here before I said it. Before we have open mic, I love that word, open mic. Anytime I hear it, open mic means you can say anything. But before, unless you have open mic, I would plead that when you call into a program, or at the very least my programs, and I think Wemimo too she wouldn't mind if I add Wemimo's programs, and I can always talk on behalf of Sheriff. If he doesn't agree with me, he'll find his way to do that. But when you call into these programs, it's always good to stick to the subject at hand. So that don't forget that when you put on your radio, say from 8 to 9, your mind is focused on that program and on the subject at hand. And so every time there's going to be a reaction or whatever it is, you expect it to flow, So you're talking about the NURTW, whatever it is, and somebody calls in and says, "Oh, I want to talk about the DSTV something," and completely, it could just dabaru everything. It could just spoil it. For people like Kelvin, who know what it's like to listen to like an Afrobeat sound that will take 15 minutes. A man is supposed to come in and take a tenor sax solo, and then all of a sudden somebody is chanting somewhere. He could just dabaru it, spoil everything. So when we do call in to programs, let us keep to the subject. If we are doing a Diabumi Day, so be it. Especially in a place like Diabumi, when we are enjoying ourselves, we are still talking about that. Somebody calls in and says, I want to talk about the Lekki toll gate. He don't spoil. He don't spoil and pata pata. So let's also have that in common. But I'd like one more time to plead with us to be a bit cautious, about the the way we call into programs. This is also a season of deliberate intervention. Let me tell you what I mean by that. These are my phrases. This is a time when you're running a program, you open up your lines, and somebody calls in and he wants to do some kind of campaign for a candidate. You're talking, maybe now I say, okay, let's get some calls in, and somebody now says, yes, I'm one of those who believes that Oshibajo should do this. I believe one of his virtues. No. It should not be tolerated. The guidelines that we have calls for balance. So it's the anchor that will do the balancing. Don't try to play any tricks. We are all on full alert for that. On full alert for that, and that will not take place. I plead with you that let's all have patience. The transformation to a new government is that is the elections and so on and so forth. It's not going to be an event. It's not a 90-minute event with half time and extra time if need be. It's going to be a marathon, and the more patient we are about these things, the better things will be for us. Okay, so we'll put some of these things to test now. I'll open up our lines for you to contribute. Of course, 0700 993 993 993. And the female line is 01465 7190. We're on Facebook Live and we're on YouTube. Let me take the first one. Morning. Morning. Hello, morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. The name is Moses from Lekki.
Yes, sir. Please speak up.
Okay, the name is Moses calling from Lekki. There is this word that Yoruba say, Omoto Konle.
Translate.
Hello, can you hear me?
Translate now. Omoto Konle means what?
Is somebody they teach at home that will know how to behave outside. The truth is that, sometimes when you're about to say something, you need to think what the word will cost. Like, let me quickly give this example. Like, yes, somebody has wronged you. It's wrong totally. But will you be doing any good by saying something that will now affect you again, that will make you look stupid before the person? You want to still, despite you are annoyed, you still want to watch your words. You want to think about the things you're about to say, despite that person is faulty.
Yes.
Not to create more problem instead of creating peace.
Yes.
You understand? In anything we want to do, we want to think about morals. Peace should always come first in our head, despite people are bad to us.
Yes.
Thank you.
God bless you. I'll take another caller now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, ma. Who's calling?
This is Pastor Ladipo calling from Orile Gum.
Pastor, please, no vex, I beg. Please go on.
Okay, sir. See, sir, one of the regrets I will ever said I had because of this politics and politicians was the last election.
Yes.
And ever since then, I've now learned to control my temperament and the way I talk, no matter who you are, no matter how I'm not satisfied with whatever.
Yes.
Because that election day, I fought physically.
Yes.
Physically. Because I saw some cheatings that were not going down well with me. So Henceforth, I've learned my lessons. No matter who I support, no matter where my opinions lie, I must learn to control myself. And I want to also appeal to every one of us too. As we are entering into this thing again, these guys knows how to control us emotionally. So we must hold ourselves and stand on our ground, and we should not kill ourselves over anybody and use some languages that we will regret later.
Okay,
Thank
Pastor.
you, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. And we're going to take a short break, then we'll be right back.
Don't touch that. Welcome back. Daily Digest. This returns in a moment. Digest with Jimi Disu.
Hey, put a spotlight on me. Now let me tell you this. I used to care for the world's opinion. And I
used to beg for validation.
And I used to wait to be seen.
But now, no more.
No more. No more.
Because my time,
My time?
My time.
my own time is now. So what are you waiting for?
Amstel Malta. Be your best.
Hey, put a spotlight on me. Now let me tell you this. I used to care for the world's opinion.
And I used to fear their rejection.
Omo, I used to beg for validation.
And I used to wait to be seen.
But now, no more.
No more. No more.
Because my time,
My time?
My time.
my own time is now. So what are you waiting for?
Amstel Malta. Be your best. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
Yeah, you're welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And this is brought to you by Amstel Malta. Amstel Malta, produced by Nigerian breweries. So we'll move on with the program. We'll still take some more. By the way, the chief imam of the mosque in Abuja has been moved to another mosque in Abuja behind the central bank. And I'm sure that people might want to pay attention to what he has to say today. As controversial as it might seem. But then you ask yourself, what is controversial? Controversial is determined by different people in different manner. For example, if you criticize the government heavily, you become controversial. In fact, what we do have, the phenomenon we have that I find worrying is that if you're perceived to be highly critical of what is being done, which is your own opinion, then you are seen as an enemy of the state. This transcends both federal and state level. You know, they brand you an enemy of the state, and it shouldn't be so. I keep telling government, whoever wants to hear, that government handlers of this function of the information and the image of government, they should be proactive. You should continue, no matter how critical you consider the media, members of the media, no matter how critical you think they are, you need to continue to have a relationship with them. You know, it's not just to see. I think it is sheer laziness and lack of whatever to sit back and brand somebody and say, "Oh, he's an enemy of this government," and then you do nothing. Or you start going, using all kinds of other methods, maybe to stifle him, threaten, and so on and so forth. That's not the way it should be. I've been doing this program now for close to almost 9 years. In all the 9 years, I've been invited to only one briefing at federal level. Just one. You know, I would have thought that the image handlers at federal level, for example, would come around once a weekend, once a month or thereabout, once every 2 months. Invite key stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, those who are involved in dissemination, in analysis, and background them. so that if an issue crops up, you have a relationship with them that they can easily pick up their phone and ask for the background to whatever it is. But they don't do that. Government wants to take a very important decision and so on and so forth. You quickly call up your contacts, you background them. But this brown envelope journalism, as once you what you have in a lot of cases is that once you do not want to be quote and unquote on the payroll, then you're an enemy and you're bound and left to your own devices. It shouldn't be that way. I remember the way things were done in the days of Shagari. I can't remember who his press secretary was. As highly critical as the Tribune was of him, even with their interest, he kept on relating with them. I remember that of Shagari. And when the need arose, he gave Awolowo a national honor, saying to him, look, we can disagree on political whatever, but you are more than worthy of a national honor. You don't get that much today, and I think I'd like to call on the authorities to do a rethink. That it's not enough for you to back at journalists and all the paraphernalia of the state and say to them that, oh, you're highly critical, somebody must be behind this, you've been paid to do this. No, you need to relate with people. I repeat, you need to relate with people. As I'm speaking to you, I don't think I've spoken to anybody for close to over 2.5 years at federal level. I went out of my way to start to build a relationship with them, but some of them is that relationship means that, oh, you will never be critical. It doesn't work that way. I have a job to do, you have yours. But we can meet ourselves halfway if you open the door for dialogue. At state level, it's almost the same. The state wants to take a firm decision on something. Nobody backgrounds you. Nobody gives you any information. When you then come highly critical, you become an enemy of the state. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. And as we're moving forward into this democratic dispensation, I hope that we'll see more of that kind of rapport between the various bodies, the political parties. Political parties, those who handle the information, whatever, must know that your job is to build bridges, not to defend. Your job, you are not a minister of defense. Your job is to reach out across and build bridges. Let everybody understand what you want, what it's all about. And not to go on the defensive and then say to your principal, he is related to so and so, therefore he must be. It's a very childish and imbecilic way of doing things. It's intellectually lazy. Listen to criticism. Take it in good faith. Have a relationship with people. Explain things to them. Keep explaining and explaining. Even in some cases, because I'm not saying that you don't have cases, of course, where people are biased. You keep at them. You jolly well keep at them. We don't get a lot of that here, and I hope that because sometimes it helps if you know the thought processes behind certain actions that have taken place, even though there are some actions that you jolly well cannot rationalize at all. There's some that there is no way, barring selfish interests, you can't rationalize some actions, of government, federal, state, local government, name it. But you have to keep at it. You have to keep at it. We are extending in the name because all of us want progress for the nation. What else would you want? Those of us on this side of the divide, we are not competing with anybody. Nobody wants another man's job. All of us want to strive to make sure, that our country is a much better nation for our people. Because our people are suffering. Our people are suffering. The pain that you find in the polity is unprecedented. Pain in terms of economic, everyday life, heat, health, how you react to some decisions that are made. Some of these decisions give you pain. I mean, if you live on this axis of town, after the toll gate here, anytime they talk about tolling, you feel pain. Like during the toll gate argument, somebody said, okay, if you're going to toll the Lekki Expressway express. Why don't you told the Third Mainland Bridge, the Oregon Link Bridge? So if you're on this side of town, every time that it crops up, you feel pain. And our people are so. You don't want to know, for example, how much some of us pay for ordinary electricity. Some of us who have acquired taste for food, because an acquired taste for food is an acquired taste for food. You eat what you want. Now you cannot eat what you want, you eat what you see. In fact, these days, sometimes you don't even eat what you see, you just eat what you get. So in the midst of all this, what would help is if those who are running the affairs of states, if they would be a bit more proactive in putting it, because look, there are some global things that also bring about this pain. Of course, when we talk about them in Nigeria, we don't look at the global side of things. We don't look at COVID, for example. We don't look at the price of oil and so on and so forth. We keep looking at our own local environment. Now, it is for officials of the government to say, look, Jimmy, I'd like to have a drink with you. And then explain to you that, look, this is the reason why we had to do this. This is this and this is that. That is, of course, if you have nothing to hide, though. If you have something to hide, well, I'm sorry. So that is I just thought that I will put down my thoughts on that so that we could have a discussion on that. And all together, let us all get together and find a way by which, because nobody wants this country to fall on his head. Nobody. Even those who are agitators and say they want another state entirely, they want another nation, Yoruba nation, Igbo nation. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are talking about. I can tell you. My view is that we are better off together as one strong, undivided country. We are better together as one strong. However, if those who want to go their separate ways now turn out in the majority, there's nothing you can do. But it is my personal view that we are all dividing us. Of course, means that we'll be divided down the line, almost to the point that if you probably have a country called Shomolu, and another one called Fadi, and another one called the Bobi Shabe, and another one called Morocco. Marada, you just have various countries, little pockets. That's what's going to happen. Because human existence is very difficult amongst people, especially if you have very selfish ones amongst them who have a sense of entitlement. It's very difficult. And so let's be clear about that. I think that most reasonable people would want the fact that somebody is marginalizing you now doesn't mean you cannot marginalize a person tomorrow. Why don't you put up your own tactics and see? It's all about survival. So if you have a Yoruba nation, then the Ijebus will say that the Egbas will say that the Ijebus are marginalizing them. Then you have a country called Egbado in Ogun State. They've never had a governor. Then when you have Egbado, then the Ayetoro people will say that no, I mean, you can see how those things have degenerated to a point where people are now insisting that the vice chancellor of a federal university should come from their area. That's how far down we've gone. And like my good son here said yesterday, the prince of the source, that Awolowo, who started the university in Ife, he had the power to cite it in Ikene. He didn't do so. He could have started the University of Ikene, and that's it. Nobody would. Well, a few people might have challenged him, but he would get away with it. Of course, with the kind of megalomaniacs we have in our politics these days, these are the kind of things that happen. But he didn't do that. In good sense, he built the Liberty Stadium in Ibadan. He had NTA, whatever it is, WNTV in Ibadan. He could have moved it to Ikene. He put the university in Ife. He had Ibadan Polytechnic. In fact, it was almost as if he bound the Ikene people to the Philistines. I mean, come on. The Adeyemi College of Education, he put it in Oyo. Anyway, he cited it, sorry, I'm talking, this is Yoruba English, Offici, he put it. Let's have fun. Today's Friday. Morning, everybody. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Uncle Jimmy.
Yes.
I greet you.
Hello.
Uncle Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yes. Who's calling?
My name is Kelvin.
Oh, Kelvin. What is wrong with you this morning? What happened?
I don't know what happened.
Your money lost.
Network. The one we lost past money self.
I know.
Uncle Jimmy, what you're saying this morning is key.
Yes.
I'm from the Southeast. I've had running battles with some of my brothers and sisters from Nigeria is not working. Just separate ways. And I've argued with them that going your own way does not solve the problem of security.
Yes.
It does not solve the problem of poverty. It does not solve the problem of marginalization that we just talked about now. I'll give them an example. Look at Ukraine, a country that broke away from the Soviet Union in the early 90s. If they had told Ukraine that another people within that same Ukraine that they broke away from and had their own country,
yes,
that another country would break away inside that same Ukraine, would anybody would have believed that? But as we speak today, another country has broken away from within that same Ukraine. And there's no guarantee that those two countries that are broken away from that Ukraine as their own separatist country, and that country will also break away from that one too. So how long are we going to break, keep getting fragmented more and more and more? Why not face the issues that are there as a country and solve them? So that is, I'm not having this argument with them, but a lot of people speak on issues without deep thinking.
Yes.
They just come out. If you have a hatred for a certain person, you just think that this country does not belong to anybody. This country, Nigeria, we all have a stake in it. The fact that a person has been there as a helm in leadership does not mean he's owner of the country. So if Nigeria is broken away, because as it is now, Nigeria is fragile, very, very. Any little thing can cause a spark. So why not all of us come collectively instead of trying to shy away from that problem? But
okay, I don't know what is happening. I don't know why the line is not clear. Yeah, okay, we have a caller by Skype. What's the name, please? Uche. Sorry? Uche, okay. Uche, morning, can you hear us? Clear. Yeah,
Good morning,
Uche, where are you calling from? Sorry? Where are you calling from? Uche, morning, can you hear us? Oh, it's a pity. We'll try it again. I suspect the caller from Skype is calling from where? Does it indicate? It's calling from Nigeria here. Okay, let's take another call. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Uncle Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Morning, good morning. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm so happy this morning with all the explanation you gave.
Yes.
But my pain, some of us, are they ready to do that? And I want to thank God as well. One or two of them who make all these funny statements, they never call your show.
Yes.
Because I've been listening. I never hear them call. Uncle Jimmy, do you believe that somebody called Nigeria Info, boasting that he's from Ugoja, that he has power to kill? Christopher Nwuka, he mentioned my name, that he has power to kill. Do you believe that?
Well, it is important for people to know that security forces, they monitor these things. It's part of their job. So, and let me also tell people, in case you don't know, there are some that call and immediately, you'll be amazed at how our security people work. Immediately, there was somebody waiting for us at the gate here to give the details.
That is so lucky. I don't know why they are giving him that soft landing. Whenever he calls, he make all these statements. People should go and commit suicide. People would die.
Maybe you should make, if he's threatening you, I advise that you make a formal complaint at Shangisha.
No, I've said to Nigeria Info it's good for me to go. I think they will take care of that.
Nigeria Info is not a security organization. Just go.
Uncle Jimmy, don't worry. I have this Kukwaman on your stuff.
Yes, I trust you. I trust you. They're not fit.
Uncle Jimmy, thank you. Come down to your birthday tomorrow. Huh?
Yes, come down to
thank you, my
tomorrow.
brother. Thank
yes. It's important for people to know, by the way, that you can't get away, calling on radio and dropping a clanger. Yes, we do get occasional. We work hand in hand with security. I mean, there's no denying that. When I say hand in hand, if there's a call that is untoward, they monitor it, or if we, like responsible citizens, we believe that it's a security risk, we pass it on to them. I mean, nobody wants this country to catch fire. Definitely not. Because if at a time of peace, you can hardly put food in your stomach, what do you think will happen in a time of confusion? And then if you don't know what war is like, if you think it is like watching The Longest Day or all these war movies, if you think that's what glorified whatever, that's what it is like, sit down one day with a bottle of water nearby and watch CNN and see what's going on in Ukraine. Then you will have a fair idea of the fears that some of us have. Okay, it's 9:46, and in another, only God knows how many minutes, I'll have to leave here and go and enjoy my vacation on Daily Digest. Can we take that call again? Okay, we're trying to get that call on Skype again. It might be outside the country. Hello, good morning. Enjoy my vacation.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, where are you calling from?
Take that call again. I'm calling from UK, sir.
Okay, yes, I suspected. Turn down your radio, okay, so that because we're hearing the feedback.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Yes, morning. Where are you calling from?
Good morning, sir. I'm calling from UK, sir.
Yes, I suspected. Turn down your radio. Turn down. Because we're hearing no, we are getting the feedback. We're still getting the feedback from.
Morning. It's not on at all. Good morning, sir.
Oh, well, but it keeps coming up. We can't take that call. I'm so sorry. It's a pity. Use your telephone, I beg. Buy it. I go send you £5. Call us directly. Okay. Let's have another one. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning,
I'm
ma'am.
happy to make it this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Uncle Jimmy, I'm very, very glad about your comment concerning Nigerian being together.
Yes.
Concerning all the tribes being together.
Yes.
You see, there is no value in it. I attended federal school, and I know how the relationship, you know, how when we see ourselves, how we relate with ourselves, we don't even think of, you know, being from other tribe, or we see ourselves as from the same place, from the same house. And this is this joy. You see, when I am from Lagos. I'm from Lagos State. I move. At times I go to Abuja. I call on my classmates. They attend to me. They, you know, we relate. We play together. Do everything together. They are from the east, from the north, from everywhere.
Okay, ma. I think the point is noted. You have a minute. A minute is up, madam. Thank you very much for your contribution. I'll take my last contribution for the day before I excuse myself. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir.
Morning. Who's calling?
Ambassador Musa from Mission.
Ambassador, how are you? Quickly. Thank you. Yes, I know.
Yeah, Uncle Jimmy, I like to take this morning.
Yes.
And people fail to realize one thing.
Yes.
Let me paint a scenario for you, sir. Someone slapped me outside, collect my shoe, and I can't do anything. And I got back home. What I did is to rent a ladder. I started to remove all my the roof of my house. By best, I'm removing everything that I'm angry. Someone slapped me outside. I remove all the roof. Secondly, the rain starts falling. Every document I have in my house.
I like that analogy. Yes, go on.
Uncle, you need to do.
Hello. Oh, we lost that call.
Problem.
Oh, okay, go on.
When something happens, let us deal with the issue, not to take the rest back. Like what happened is now, you have a problem with government. You are destroying police station, everything. Even the governor tried to talk, and you didn't listen to the governor. Something else, the government own town. It's what happened. It's not done this way. We don't look at come out for our share our now. The problem we solve, and that the problem we create by ourselves will remain.
Okay, we have to go. I tried to see if I can help him by translating Kama for Shirawa, and what kept ringing in my head is do not let us use our hand to do our hand. Is that what it means? To do our hand. Do not let us use our hand. Anyway, I think the point is noted. I got to leave now. A few announcements, though. The whole of next week I'll be on a short vacation. I'll be here, but I haven't taken any rest this year, and I'm getting tired. Also, you need to pray for us, those of us who do this job. Sharif and I said it this morning. It's almost getting to a point of trauma, the kind of things that, the kind of attention you have to pay to things that go on. I just honestly wish I was like in insurance or something, sell an insurance policy, watch movies in the evening, and then wake up the following morning, go back selling insurance. It was easier than this job that we are doing. You just listen to the program, 30 minutes, 1 hour, you don't know what it takes from us. Sometimes some decisions can give you sleepless nights. You wonder where all this is coming from. So I got to take a week's break, okay? The show will go on anyway, but I'll be away for about a week, thereabouts. On vacation, but my spirit will be with everybody. But tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we are here as usual. The discourse will be here. We'll just sit back in the spirit of Easter, and have a jolly good time. Okay, there are 5 gifts to go tomorrow. I can quickly tell you there are 5 gifts. It's going to be in one pack. One pack would have 20K cash. Would have a power bank, would have bags, I think has face caps, and is a bumper. It's like my friend Chris would call Bemo. And it's just 5. It's just 5, that's all. We don't have time for any long, this thing is 5. And you must collect by Monday. By the close of business on Monday, if you haven't collected it, at least the cash rate inside, I will put it back inside my pocket. Let it be resting with the kurube that is sitting down there. Okay. And so tomorrow we'll have fun. My friend says that he must join me, or rather I said he must join me, and he too said he must join me. Mr. Candid Johnson. Not for any interview, no, we just sit back and just reminiscence, talk about a few things and so on and so forth. So maybe we can slip in 1 or 2 legal things that we might want to talk about. So Mr. Candid Johnson will be here with me tomorrow. Of course, we'll be wearing Ashwebi. He wears this famous Castro shirt. And because of that, I went to buy one. So that I'm a Badogba. You know that in Celestial Church, when somebody is delivering message, there must be another prophet nearby to my Badogba. So all right, so that's what we'll be doing tomorrow at 9. After that, I'm gone for about a week. Away from all the troubles, bad governance, and so on and so forth. I could do with a break. I'll see you all tomorrow at 9. The Tekers are here any minute from now. As usual, Teke 2 and Teke 1. These days, they come in together before they used to come in separately. But help me beg them, please. Please beg them, those who know them. They should bring Teke 3 to join me in the studio one of these days. It would be nice to have a Diabumi with a 3-year-old. Wouldn't it be nice? You never know what those kids are thinking. I'm still going to drag what's your daughter's name now? Oduayo will meet with Teke 1. See you all tomorrow at 9. Enjoy yourselves.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria